for me, it means sticking to your core values. Well, here's the problem. If you don't know what the hell your core values are, then how can you even begin to be authentic and live within that?
Yes.
And in order to find your core values, here we go. We are one step deeper in early. In order to find your core values, you have to ask yourself those questions. Why do I believe this? Where did this belief come from? Is this me and my belief, or is this a reflection of those around me so that I fit in with them? And so you have to dig deeper and deeper and deeper until you get to the bottom line. And maybe that means some of what you thought were your core values change. My 3 core values are kindness, respect, and compassion for all humans, including self. The including self part, I'm still working on that one, but I like to give kindness, respect, and compassion. And that really is my core values. And so anything that I choose in my life is going to be acting out of those core values. That means I'm living authentically. And so kindness to self equaled, I'm gonna try making some damn earrings because I want to, and I want to be kind to myself and have fun. And Jimmy, I know you have core values too, and I don't know if you like off the top of your head could go with 3 of them, but
Very similar to yours. I mean, I would start with love because I love people. Kindness and compassion. Those are my 3.
yeah.
This is why you and I get along. We're very, very similar in our core values. Even though we disagree on a lot of things, we agree heartily on these core value things. There's the secret sauce to Jimmy and Brittany being friends.
Yes, exactly. Our core values match up and align. And it's so funny that yours is love and mine would be respect. Oh my goodness. I know I've referenced this before, but there's a book called Love and Respect within Relationships. And it's the original book is talking about marriage, but you can apply it to any friendship or any relationship in your life. And it's funny because typically they say men desire respect and give love when they feel respected, and women give respect when they feel loved. And for us, it's kind of vice versa.
So are you saying in this friendship, you're the guy and I'm the girl?
You said it, not me. But but I love that both of us can be so authentic within this relationship, and when we have conversations that we're always acting out of those core things. But it wasn't always that way.
It's the core of our strong bond is our willingness to go where no conversations go before for a lot of people, like that Star Trek reference. So we go in, and like I think you talked about this last week, we go in some very difficult subjects a lot of times, and they're not always super comfortable, but we always come out of those conversations of, okay, we were real with one another, not ugly. Look, being real doesn't mean being ugly, doesn't mean, well, this is just who I am. I know you hate that anyway. I would never say, well, this is who I am, Brittany, deal with it. Right. Oh, I would not last long, guys. She would find a way to Spartanburg, South Carolina, and kick my ass for that one. But it's that mutualness there, that with those core values, they ground you. And being real means knowing that you can literally say anything to that other person and they won't get upset by it. They might feel something, but they know that you have their best interest in mind. And that changes everything. Like there's not many people you can say something that is counter to what they believe and they don't viciously attack you for that.
And that's why I think it's important within relationships to be sure that the other person knows what your core values are. So if you're acting outside of your core values, something's clearly wrong. I can't really think of an instance where I haven't acted out of my core values. Now, I may have gotten a little upset or heated, but my core values. And so if we are in some kind of disagreement, or Wama and I are in some kind of something, or me and the girl, whoever it is that I'm close with, they know at my core that I desire kindness, respect, and compassion, and I give kindness, respect, and compassion. And so maybe to filter and see it through my eyes, and same for me. I know that Jimmy desires love, compassion, and kindness, and so I give that. It's so important when we're talking about authenticity to operate from your core beliefs. And then taking it into that, a world of inauthentic people. I mean, let's be, like I said at the beginning, people operate not in their authentic self because they're afraid of not being loved, not being liked, not being desired, not having a circle, not having a friend. Except what happens is when you're living inauthentically, you don't attract people who are authentic.
No.
And so I think about mine and Jimmy's relationship when we very first started. It was odd, but I had gotten to the place where I'm like, I'm going to be my damn self. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be who I am. And so Jimmy met me later in life. So he didn't, I mean, he's watched me evolve from the beginning of our relationship to now. But I just was open and authentic from day one and operated within my core values. And that probably gave him permission to be like, well, shit, I'm going to be myself too. Not that Jimmy's ever been anything other than himself.
Can I tell you what it did for me? I don't think I've ever said this out loud. When life got tough for me with circumstances in my life and dealing with my childhood trauma and revelations that came out suddenly out of nowhere 2.5 years ago, and then the end of my relationship with my wife, and just so many things kind of was going crazy. First person I thought of was Brittany. Yeah. And I called you and I was like, I need somebody to talk to. And you're like, hey, I got you. Let's go. I got kindness and compassion and respect in my heart for you. So let's do this. And that's when, I credit you often that and you almost made you cry at my birthday party when I said this, that I made it through that time because of you. And she said, don't do this. Don't do this. I don't want this.
Yeah, I was like, don't make me cry up here from all these people.
But you did, guys. And so that built that bond. But it was because you were authentic. Because it's easy to open up to someone who shows themselves as authentic, because part of the authenticity is, and we say this a lot with a lot of things, but it's vulnerability that allows that authenticity to shine through. And if you're not vulnerable, if you're not willing to put yourself at risk of, oh, what are they going to think about me? Yeah, none of that matters if you're living in your authentic self. And Brittany has never shied away from being exactly who she is and having very, very strong opinions about things that I kind of had to gulp and process. And I still love and adore her to death. But I'm like, right. So let's talk about that a little more, Miss Authentic. So.
Well, I wanted to tell a story. It's in the book, and you can dive in a little bit more. It's one of the later days of the 40 days. I talk about my mother-in-law, Mary. And Mary means the absolute world to me. However, the beginning of our relationship was trash. We did not get along, not even a little bit. I mean, like, she threatened to kick my ass. Like, that kind of not get along, guys. It was bad. Fast forward a few years later, she had left her husband, and that was very important to her change, because even though I had always saw Mary as a hardened person, I realized she wasn't hardened. She was living a life that wasn't her. She was being inauthentic within herself. She wasn't honoring herself. And what made her so hostile with me and me hostile with her was she knew I wasn't living authentically. She knew I was just doing things and saying things to make her happy.
Yes.
And I couldn't tell you exactly the psychology why. Maybe it was just because she's like, no, nobody's going to change to try to make me happy, because I'll constantly have to change myself to make other people happy, so I don't want that. And there was just contention there. So Mary and I now have a wonderful relationship, an incredible relationship, but it literally took me becoming a little bit more like her and deciding I don't give a flying fuck what people think about me. I don't care. And I'm going to be who I am and honor my own choices, decisions, and my own core values, regardless of what people think of me. And I had to learn to become a little bit more like Mary. And now we're super close. And the same thing happened with my dad. When I began to step into my authentic self, the person that I was afraid to be because I was afraid I wouldn't be loved, like, it's turned out that I have closer relationships with everybody in my life than I've ever had before.
because they now respect you for being who you are. Even though in your mind, oh, I can't be those things because they'll think differently or less than of me if I'm not this vision of who they think I am. And we've even talked about this before, that everybody has a version of you in their mind, and every one of those versions are different. And so it makes you play this game of, all right, which version am I going to play today? And so when you live authentically, people are attracted to authenticity. I think that's why I've stuck around so long in the space online. People see me as real. They see me as caring. They see my core values on full display all the time.
You said they see me as caring, and I only heard Karen. I'm like, yeah, Jimmy's a total Karen. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Jimmy's not a Karen because he lives authentically. And you know, we have had this theory that the Karens out in the world are just trying to please everybody all the damn time, and so they blow up at the random person because they're just trying to please everybody all the time instead of honoring. I don't know. Karens are a phenomenon in themselves.
Did you go keto and thought you had to give up wine? Well, let me introduce you to Dry Farm Wines. It is the world's first sugar-free alcohol that is lower than your typical wines, organic, made at local farms that do it the right way. Most of the wines that you buy are from 3 really big companies, loaded with additives and preservatives, so many dozens of those kinds of things. You don't want all that junk in your wine. So go to dryfarmwines.com/Jimmy and they will ship you these wines. And just because you listen to this podcast, Dry Farm Wines is going to give you a bottle in your first order for just 1 cent. Go to dryfarmwines.com/Jimmy and you will get your bottle of wine for just 1 singular penny. Go check them out. Dry Farm Wines, you guys. It's wine o'clock somewhere. Let's go get some wine.
Yes.
But I want to get back to the friendship thing. You know, I hear a lot of people talk to me about, I don't know how to find people who are authentic. Like, I don't. And so I always have to pull out the Brittany tough love and go, okay, if you can't find someone who's authentic in your life and you don't have that relationship, the tough love question is, are you being authentic?
Yeah.
Because chances are, if you're not attracting authenticity, it's because you're not putting it out there.
Yes. Yes. There's totally a tit for tat relationship with that. I think that's how you and I found each other, was like, it was random, a story you put on your Instagram page that you tagged me and we started talking on the phone and everything.
Yeah.
But it became quickly apparent that there was a little more to both of us on both sides. And so, and look, I've been able, since Brittany's not my only authentic friend. I've got about 7 others, ironically, all women. They're all ladies of varying ages and varying places in their life and varying marriage status. It's funny. And guys, let me speak up for the dudes for a moment. Guys, this is where we're derelict. We have to be more authentic. And look, I realize vulnerability, authenticity, from a traditional male role perspective. Well, that's sissy, and that's you're not a tough guy if you're that way. Yeah, screw all that. Screw the patriarch in this instance.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we have lost so much of what comprises a man, all under the guise of we have to be burly and emotionless and creatures. And look, I'm saying, if you're one of those people, I'm not saying you're bad. I'm just saying, watch how your life can be enhanced if you have authentic relationships, if you live yourself authentically, if you cry when things are appropriate to cry. If you got a little girl, I'm sure Wild Man cries over your little girls sometimes. Maybe. No? So anyway, we show emotion. He shows emotions in his own way, if he doesn't cry. So I just feel like we have lost that essence of authenticity as men. And so I'm challenging men, get back to it. Allow yourself to go there. I promise you it will enhance your relationships, and it won't make you any less of a man than you are today.
Agreed. And I speak up in this area a lot.